This is episode 30. We had
Something
episode
like that.
29 and a half last week. So episode 30 of MVP podcast. We are remote right now and happy hour
Happy
going on.
hour.
So what are we drinking, Natasha?
I have a Sancerre, so it's like a Sauvignon Blanc. It's delicious.
Okay, that sounds like fancy wine.
It is fancy wine. We
Nice.
had a wine tasting last night, so this is from the wine tasting, and I'm loving it. So
nice. And what are we having over there? Where I don't even know where you're located. I apologize.
That's okay. I'm in Kenosha. I am yep. Southeast corner, right over Illinois border. And today these are one of my favorites. This is a whiskey old fashioned sour.
That is a Wisconsin staple.
Yes. Now in Wisconsin, I would be, like I kind of would be slapped because it's not brandy.
Oh,
so I've got whiskey in there instead of brandy.
Well, I'd go with whiskey as well. If I didn't work until the bitter start of this podcast, I would be having like a straight bourbon.
Cheers. Oh,
right now I've got Bullet.
That's delicious.
That's what I would be having if I wasn't out of my truck right now.
Good thing about not drinking and driving. So A+ on that.
True. And my car is on for the AC because it is, what was it, like 90 something today?
Oh, so hot. So Marcus, I do have to tell you, I spoke with Mitch earlier today about investment strategies. It was awesome.
And I'm hoping he can share more now on the podcast. So everybody can, we try to bring in guests. This is, I think, the third real investor, minus our passive guy, third real investor. So we are interested in sharing all different types of philosophies on how you do it, Mitch. So we kind of start out the show the same way every time. We try to get a background of where you came from, because not everybody is born into real estate where they just know they want to invest in real estate. They usually have some sort of background that's completely opposite, and then they end up in real estate and then dominate it. So Mitch, can you give us and the listeners a background of where you came from?
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, thanks again for having me on. I love this stuff. I was just telling Natasha before we started recording, this gets me going. This gives me a lot of energy. I'm always looking to try and help people in their real estate journey, no matter what it is. So just thanks again for having me on. But my background was not in real estate before I got into real estate. My parents, great parents, blue collared workers, worked very, very hard their entire life. Didn't really give me a lot of advice on money. It was always more about you work hard, you work somewhere for a long time, and you retire. And that was kind of the mentality. So in about 2011, my wife and I, we built our first new construction home. Just randomly, because we got married in 2010 and we decided to build in that time frame, and we got really used to construction and working with contractors, and we kind of fell in love with that process. And two major things happened to me in 2014. The first one being my wife's father, my father-in-law, said, guys, I'm not that wealthy. But I know a lot of wealthy people, and a lot of wealthy people are in real estate. And I think you guys can do that. I think you guys would be good at that. So that kind of put this little thing in our mind, that's what we wanted to do. And then right after that, I had a really good friend of mine pass away just randomly. And it gave me this notion of what am I doing with my life? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And I was in a corporate job right out of college, and I was in that corporate job already for 4 or 5 years, and I didn't like it, and I hated it essentially. And I didn't want to do that. So my wife and I, after those things happened, we got into a rental, and we were let's start building our rental portfolio. That's what we'll do. And we did that, and we didn't know what the hell we were doing. It was we couldn't find a tenant. We couldn't get repairs done to the house. It was a struggle to buy the property. no idea. And we then decided to get educated and really focus on investing in ourselves, in our education in real estate investing. And we did that with a company called Fortune Builders. It's a large nationwide educational platform. And it was one of the best decisions we ever made because it gave us a lot of the basics of real estate investing. So from there, we started flipping properties and we started building our rental portfolio via the BRRRR strategy, the buy, rehab, rent, and refinance. And from there, we've just snowballed into building our rental portfolio. Right now, I'm also a licensed real estate agent in Wisconsin. We do right now wholesaling, listings, and just continuing to pay down our rentals. And we just on Tuesday of this week, we just got an accepted offer on our first short-term rental that we will be doing, will be in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, which is like super exciting for us. So in the Smoky
You're out of
Mountains.
state too.
What's that?
You're out of state.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
Short
we haven't even
short-term out of state. I've been itching to get at.
Yeah, it is. The numbers are amazing. Like it's a numbers game. Like I said, it's like you can calculate the risk as best as possible. But last time we were on and I was talking with you guys, we were talking about how we were going to be taking some business lines of credit out on our rentals that we have that are paid down and deciding what we were going to do with those funds. Were we going to start funding deals? Were we going to, buy more rentals? And over the past 2 months, my wife and I, Nina, we've really been researching and diving into short-term rentals. And so we made an offer this past weekend and it was accepted on Tuesday, and never seen the property, only photos. And, but we're working with we became a part of a short-term rental group that does these types of things. And it's exciting. I can't say enough like how excited I am to start like kind of like this next part of the journey.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. Well,
congratulations.
Thank you.
Cheers to that. The two that have a drink.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And obviously out of state long distance investing was not where you started. So obviously you get yourself educated. For the listeners, they obviously realize you're not going to be driving down to Tennessee to fix a toilet, or because it's a short-term rental, which I'm guessing is an Airbnb situation.
Yep.
So you're not going to be doing every turnover. So how did you navigate the out-of-state portion of the tenant turnover?
Yeah.
Just for our listeners to know, like, this isn't something that's impossible. If you read about it and learn it, you're going to figure it out.
And I might need to learn this too. I'm just saying.
Yes, absolutely. So for everyone that's listening, so we literally just put the property under contract less than 5 days ago. So we're in the learning process as well. This is where I think a lot of people can get caught up, where they won't pull the trigger on something because they don't know it 100% on how to do it. So a part of this group, that the short-term rental group that we are part of, they connect us with the agents, the lenders, the contractors, the cleaning crews. And being a part of this group, what they do is it's the network that they're a part of. So they're not charging anything to be a part of the group, but they say, use these people because we will refer you out to them. And that's how they generate business. So they mainly focus in areas that are high touristy areas that actually are very dependent upon like Airbnb type of scenarios that go on in those areas. So the Smoky Mountains, which is where we just put the offering on, that's one of the places, like the Panhandle of Florida, Gulf Shores in Alabama, and then there's a couple of spots in Colorado as well. So that's where they focus all of their groups. So when it comes to, obviously we have long-term rentals that are more close to us that are managed by property managers. So, that's much easier for us in the sense of like, it's closer. If something happens, the managers take care of those things, leaky toilet, things that made tenants that call and want to have things fixed. Managers take care of that. There's system in places that we will now learn how to use in the short-term rental on how to actually get the correct cleaners, get the correct contractors. My wife and I were planning to go down there in July to actually go see the property for the first time. We have some ideas of some of the updates that we want to do already to the property. And we will be kind of learning all of these things at the same time. The biggest thing is being around people and connecting with people and building the relationships with people that are doing this correctly and are doing it already and are being successful at it. So that's one of the biggest things that Nina and I have always looked at is like, how do we find the right people that are doing these things and then just duplicate what they're doing, copy what they're doing. And everyone that has been a part, they are so open, so sharing. They share their numbers, they share their profits, they share their gross incomes. Like those are the types of people that you want to be talking to that because they're successful in doing it. So they're very open on how they're doing it.
And the people that are successful know that there's enough real estate to go around, that they're not fearful. Like, I'll teach you everything I know because you're not going to impede on where I'm going. There's so much out there.
And they already have so many books of business at that point that they're like, you're a little fish in a big sea.
Yeah. And that sea is just endless.
Yeah.
So, no, I like that. And two, for all the people that are like, well, I can't do this because I don't know what I'm doing. It's proof. Just surround yourself with people that do, and they're going to share. I've literally never talked to anybody in real estate when I was like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing here. And they're like, yeah, that sucks. You're on your own.
Yeah.
They're always like, yeah, here, I might have somebody call him. He might know.
Like, I need to start dipping my toe in. Like, I just want to dip my little toe, just the little toe, not the big toe, just the little toe.
You are right now.
Yeah. Try it.
You are.
It's scary. Though. I was talking to Mitch earlier. I'm like, it's scary, like trying to make up your mind and figure out what your decisions are going to be and what properties you really want to take seriously and how you want to invest. Because there's so many different ways. I mean, the short-term rental is the long-term rental is you can invest in a vacation, property too. So.
Right. Yeah. I'll let you go, Mitch.
I was just going to say, like, I think that's no matter what, it's going to be scary. No matter what, you're going to have the doubts of what happens if this happens or what happens if this happens. Like that's going to happen no matter what. It's about taking the risk on yourself, knowing that no matter what comes up, you're going to figure out how to make it better. And if something like a COVID happens or something like a 2008 crashes or whatever it is, you just have to, you have to ride that wave and figure out a way to still make things happen, even though it might not be the best circumstances. And I think and Natasha, when we were talking this morning, I think that was one of the biggest takeaways that I've taken over just my experience of investing in real estate. My breadth of opportunity has widened so much that I look at things much differently than when I first started out. So maybe I was very narrow looking at opportunities when I first started out. Now, as I've gained the experience and I've had the bumps and the bruises and the triumphs and the challenges, I now have this idea of this could be a good opportunity. Let me calculate it. This could be maybe not such a good one. So you just, the experience just starts to build and build and build. But the only way you do that is by jumping in and being really scared and going after it.
Yeah. I mean, I remember on one hand, like the most nerve-wracking moments. And I mean, the most recent one before the first property I ever bought was my first college baseball appearance, like where my calves were shaking because I'm this little freshman and I don't know if we're facing like the top or the second top team in the conference and we're down. So they're just like, all right, go pitch an inning and see how you do. but I'm sitting there like I have to be the best, and I can't mess up, and I can't mess up. And I'm in my head and I'm nervous and my body's shaking.
Yeah.
So when I was at the auction, because I bought my first house at an auction, when I was bidding for it, I felt my whole body like shaking. And I feel like I'm a freshman in college. I will admit the fear was there in jumping in, and I'm against all of these people who come to these auctions every day. I was 25 when I bought it. So I'm this 25-year-old with all of these like 40 plus people. Like, what am I doing here?
You're a young buck. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, it's scary. But since then, like, auctions are super fun now. Like, I enjoy them. So yeah, you jump in, and the first time is so scary, and then it kind of just flows after that.
Yeah. And I here's the thing too, like, I know with the short-term rental stuff that we're going to do right now, we are going to have roadblocks. We're going to have to figure out systems and processes throughout this next 6 months or a year or whatever that is. But I've gotten to really appreciate the process. Like you have to, everything is a process no matter what. I was, again, Natasha, when we were talking this morning, we kind of talked about Tony Robbins a little bit. I'm also a big Gary Vaynerchuk guy. Like, he is super into process. Like, you have to trust that. You have to trust that no matter what, you're going to go through this thing of learning and figuring it out. And that's going to be for the rest of life, no matter whether it's with kids or business or relationships or whatever it is. That's just how life goes. And you have to be creative, and you have to figure it out. And I've just been more open to that in the past 7-8 years, because as I've become more open to that, life has seemed to be better. Life has seemed to just kind of flow more. Like, just let it be. You'll like, listen, I've been very fortunate enough thus far that nothing has come crashing down. No one has died. No one like doing all this. Like, it hasn't happened that way yet. And if it does, I feel like I am confident enough that I would tackle that as well. So no matter what, you're going to go through this stuff. You just, it comes down to mindset.
Yeah. I mean, I think 3 weeks ago, we were going through our new flip we were going to do. Bought it. We did the garage. It was all good. We start tackling like the demo of the house, and we noticed like the floor is bowing. So we go down and check it, and it's so waterlogged we can't even save it. So we went from trying to save about 1,200 square feet and building a second story to demoing the whole house. And the foreman comes up and he's like, "Hey, you got to check this out. Like, the floor is messed." He used a different word, but the floor is messed up. And I was like, "All right, done." And he draws the line across, and I mean, we're a good 2 inches sinking in the middle. And I'm like, "Okay, what do we got to do?" And he's like, "You got 2 options. You got 3. One, you try to sister in some 2x12s, rejoist basically. You tear the house down and rebuild from scratch, or you sell now and just get out and recover your damages." And I was like, "Well, which one do you want to do?" And he's like, "I think we should demo it and rebuild it." And I was like, "Okay, sounds good." And then we just went on with our day. It's those things, like, if that was my first property, I don't know if I'd sleep.
You would die. I would have died.
Tears.
Right.
Yep.
I'm like, that's going to be at least 25 grand right there just to dump and then try to get back to where we were.
There's no way I'd ever be able to handle any of that ever. Like, God bless you. No, I can't.
Luckily, it's not the first one. And yes, it doesn't feel great. Like, I don't go home and be like, "Guess what happened today at work?" We get to tear down a house. It's going to cost me 25 grand. Like, I'm not happy about it, but like, stuff happens. And I mean, we either dump it or we keep going, but either way, like, we got to keep moving. So make a decision, stick with it. I'll run numbers. I ran the numbers the night after we were still going to make a profit. So I'm like, let's just do it.
Yeah.
We lost time, which stinks, but we get other renovations for that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And that's the thing too. Like I'm sure in that moment, it's not feeling very good.
No.
But these are the things that you'll lean back on as you move forward in your real estate investing career, that you're going to be able to say, I got through that. I was able to take care of that. I was able to figure that out. I'm willing to now take this type of risk because we were okay. It worked out. And I think like that's where a lot of people, I say this to people that I talk to all the time when I'm like either talking with them or like trying to help them figure out like what their next step is in real estate, or they're just starting out. Like that person, you're the X factor in this entire equation. Like it's on you. Like it's how you deal with it. It's how you approach it. It's how, and Natasha, I feel like the same thing with you when you're like, I could never do that. You shouldn't say that, because that's putting that belief inside of your head.
My anxiety would be like overloaded though. Like I don't think I would be able to sleep, eat. I mean, I could, that would be a great weight loss plan though. That would be fabulous.
No, I would disagree with that. I'm an anxious person. You know, I'm a big meditator. I love to meditate. That's helped my anxiety. Like I think in today's day and age, a lot of people are very anxious and have anxiety. I just think it starts here. It's what we speak to ourselves. It's what we say to ourselves. It's how we approach situations. Growing up, I always remember like the worst things were going to happen because my mom was like a worrier. My dad was like a go-getter, like just kind of like, or I shouldn't say go, like he just like kind of let things flow. And I was very close with my mom, and she always worried, like, what if this happens, or what if this happens?
I think we had very similar upbringings.
Yeah. And that's, and not until I got into real estate did I start understanding like it's really up to me. It's up to how I approach any situation. And don't get me wrong, there's some situations that are very difficult and some that are not. But at the end of the day, it's how I process that information and how I think about it and how I move forward about going about. And Marcus, I'm sure it was the same way with you when you guys kind of hit that road bump where you're like, damn, I got to tear down this entire house. It was like, all right, I know what the next couple steps are. I got to decide, I got to figure out if I'm going to still make a profit. And if I am, this is the decision that we need to make. And then we just go, we just do it.
Yep. Yeah. And then, I mean, the problem wasn't over. During the demo, they just took like the backhoe and knocked everything inside the foundation wall, knocking over our center bearing wall of concrete. So like, what is going on?
Can I ask, Marcus, did you have to change like the finishes that you're going to be using in the house since you had to tear it down? Like, did you decide to use different finishes based on your budget concerns, anything like that?
Yeah, we do have to taper down. We're not tapering down much in the house, but we are tapering down some of the landscaping we were going to do. So we did want to build like a nice retaining wall for the driveway, which wasn't necessary to be there, but we were going to do it because it was going to look good on the grand entrance coming off the street. That's something that we just had to pull. Yeah. It's just not going to work. We did luck out. We were going to do a concrete driveway, and these are like very, well, I mean, this one's kind of bigger, I guess, but just smaller items that we're just not completely redoing, which is what we want to do. So there's asphalt right now, and we're going to convert it into concrete just because it'll look nicer. But it actually works out that the driveway's on a slope and asphalt is a little bit more tacky. So in the winter months, it actually helps them get out of the driveway. So I was like, all right, we lucked out. Let's just retop it with asphalt. Way less expensive than a whole new taking out asphalt, putting in concrete. We're going to do a wooden porch coming from the front where we were going to do stone before, just because the stone is way too expensive. So a lot of our costs were landscaping.
Sure.
We're not going to tile a couple bathrooms like we were going to originally. So yeah,
instead.
Just like a decorative tub surround.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for 2 of the bathrooms upstairs, we're tiling the master no matter what.
Absolutely.
Like for the price point of selling it, it has to be tiled. So we couldn't cut there. We couldn't cut out granite for the kitchen.
Yeah.
We couldn't cut out like the nice sink, all those things. But the 2 bathrooms upstairs, we are going to tile because they're going to be used a lot by the bedrooms upstairs. But the price of it, we couldn't make it swing. So we're just going to put in like more of a decorative tub surround, and then we'll put the vinyl plank on the floor.
Yeah.
For that. So yeah, there's a little bit of things that we just had to taper down, but it's not going to be significant.
Yeah.
It just,
that's,
we were on a teeter-totter of, okay, how much do we cut, or how much do we just take a loss on our profit, and then we'll still make money. Someone will get a brand new house. It's still a win-win, better than putting our brand out there and saying like, all right, I'm going to put $1 million house with like quartz countertops.
Right.
yeah.
You just can't do that. So there's some things you just can't X, and you just take the hit on, and we kind of split the difference where we took a hit half and we pulled half.
That's not too bad then.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I like where you're thinking too. Like, you know, on the landscaping side, I think that's a smart move. You know, people can figure out what they want to do themselves on the outside. And I like it too. Like, you know, very fortunate enough, and I don't see this changing anytime soon, is that there's lack of inventory right now. So you can maybe even try to price it a little higher than what you originally thought, and just see, maybe you do it for a week and see if you can get it. If not, you know, you just drop the price. Like there's a lot of options right now when things like that come up, because the market is so good right now. So I think it's, you know, I give you a lot of kudos to doing that, to making the decision of knocking it down. We're going after it. We can still make a profit. Let's let it ride, because that's, you know, and like you said, it's not your first one, because that can, you know, if that's someone's first one, that makes or break them. You know,
if this is my first one, I would be struggling to go back to an investor and say, hey, try me again. I know it'll work. But like, even though this one was tough, there were so many blessings in it. So we had like 16 dead trees around the house. I've never had to call somebody to cut down these big of trees in this. So I'm thinking like, okay, 1,000 to 2,000 a tree to get them removed. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go in like 25 to 30 ish grand to get these trees removed. Called somebody in. He's like, I am busy. It's going to take me 3 weeks, but I can cut them down for like 17 to 24. And I was like, all right, 17 grand, 24 grand. I'm still okay. I'm under my 30. And he was like, no, 2,200. And I was like, oh yeah, let's sign it. Let's go. Like, I'm good. And he dropped them in the backyard. I found somebody that wanted firewood. He came and pulled all the trees out for free. So I got 16 trees removed for $2,200. It was like an insane deal. And now, like the demo, I talked about that load bearing wall getting knocked down. We're going to make the egress window bigger to get more living space down the basement. So we're picking up more square footage just because that retaining wall fell. And we'll put a steel beam up for the main joist. So like, that's an improvement to the property too.
Yep.
So now we can do like a kitchen down there, and it'll be like a second, like an apartment basically.
Yep.
So that is now allowing us, not only with the shortage of inventory, but like the added bonus of it will help raise that price. So it's, again, kind of evening all out, where you can put more in rather than take more out and still boost the price up. So again, is this the problem, or am I going to solve it? Which gets you in trouble. You're married. It gets you in trouble being a problem solver. And Natasha, you can confirm that.
Yes, absolutely.
So works in business, not in personal.
No, not in personal.
Yes, I will agree with that as well. 100%.
I was going to ask Mitch, what was one of these issues that happened early on that was like, this was a bad idea. What are we doing? And now you look back and you're like, wow, that was so small.
Yeah, I mean, it was literally like my first flip. Hired the wrong contractor, did not vet him well enough. Funny story. Walk into the rehab one day. He's upstairs. Sounds like he's working. You know, I'm kind of walking through the property, and I literally walk upstairs, and he's
In
got
disguise?
what's that?
Keep going.
He literally has a 5-gallon bucket with his drill and the thing that like mixes all the mortar and everything.
Yeah.
The drill is zip tied with the trigger. It's zip tied and it's just going in a circle in this 5-gallon bucket, and he's sleeping in the corner.
Really?
Yeah. It was like, I was like, what is going on? Like,
Ooh.
yes, dude, it was one of, and this was our first rehab. And after that, we had to fire this contractor. We had to hire another one. We felt like we weren't going to make any money on the rehab. And funny enough, dude, we ended up getting a good contractor to finish out the job. We made a really good profit on the property, and actually it paid off. That was like that was our first rehab after we invested in our education with Fortune Builders. That rehab paid off that education that we paid for, and we still made a profit beyond that. And when that happened, we were like, this works. If we would just do what they have told us to do about vetting contractors and getting the right people in place, like this could really work. And honestly, it was, I remember that first rehab thinking about, I'm never doing this again. Never doing it. But then once we worked through everything and we got through it, and we were like, this now I can see why people say to do this, because it can work. Just have to do it really good. You have to do it good. You have to do it the right way.
You're
right.
selling the juice really well, and I really want to drink it. I just want to chug it down and just.
Once we get to that condo, Natasha.
I know.
Well, can you mention that name of the group again?
Yes, please.
The Fortune Builders?
Yeah, we're going to put that in the show notes so that people listening, if they're interested in getting a hold of them or connecting with them.
Yeah. They're a very large, they're a nationwide company. To be quite honest, you know, a lot of people will say like, oh, Fortune Builders, like it could be a scam, or, you know, they charge too much money. I'm 100%. I'm living proof. Like they were one of the best. They were one of the best decisions I've ever made. And it was scary I remember giving them my credit card and being like, damn, I just got scammed. Like I remember thinking that. And then a few hours later, and they provide us all this information. It literally taught me the foundation of real estate investing. And I will always say like, that was one of the best decisions that Nina and I have ever made.
I was 100% convinced that when you first told us about this, I'm like, no way. He's spouting off baloney. Like this is 100% a scam. And then the more I talk to you, the more like knowledgeable the more stuff I learn from you, and the more I'm just like, I want to sop up all the information, and I want to keep listening and learning, and thank you. So I'm 100% convinced it's not now, just FYI, in case anybody asks.
Yeah. I will say this too, like, Fortune Builders taught us that we're the X factor. That's why I always say it to people, like they were the ones that said, you either take this information and you do nothing with it, or you take this information and you do something with it. And it's up to you. We can give you, it's the adage of, you can, you know, take someone and bring them to water and give them a fish and teach them how to eat. You have to, it's not up to you to continually feed this person.
Right.
It's up to them to figure out how to fish and do it. So it was what I needed. This, and again, this was me. This is my personal experience. It's what I needed from an educational standpoint. I needed the curriculum. I needed the videos. I needed to be taking the notes. I'm an analysis person. I can be one of those people. And Natasha, when you say like, I could never do this because my anxiety and all, like I can get paralysis by analysis. When I first started out, I was that person. But
I think each person learns a different way too. Like some people, this course might have been the perfect option for. Some people, learn by like having a mentor. Like, hey, Marcus, you want to be my mentor because you're right here. Thank you. So like, there's so many different ways that you can get into the investing thing too, which I think a lot of our listeners just need to realize is there's no right or wrong way to actually get into it.
Yes.
Right.
I'll go ahead, Marcus. I'll let you.
Oh, I was just going to say, I completely agree. And I would, from what you said earlier, I think the people that think it would be a scam were the ones that actually didn't follow through with it. Not that the program's a scam. It's just that people didn't do it. Because there have been a couple people that have like talked to me about like, hey, let's connect more. Or can I come and shadow you one day and see what you do? Or can you walk me through this? I'm always like, yeah, just let me know when you want to come through. And they're like, okay. And I was like, seriously, you're not going to bother me if you just want to come. Like, if you want something to do, I'll give you some random work to do that gets you into real estate. You just got to let me know when you want to do it. And they're like, okay, I'll let you know. And then they never do. Like, I'm not going to chase you down to do stuff. If you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. I mean, I don't want to go into your work and do your stuff. So like, it's no different. But if I was interested in that, I would make a point to say, hey, can I come shadow you? And then follow through. And I think it's the same thing with the class. I'm sure there's a lot of people that go and buy these educational pieces, and the stuff they're telling you to do, if they did it, it'd work. But they buy it and then they read it and they're like, okay, well, I'll try to mix their ideas with what I want to do.
Right.
And then I'll make it work. And it's like, just don't. Everybody in this real estate business is smart and creative. Don't try to be too creative or too smart. Just like follow the paperwork, follow the system, and it will work. And you won't stress yourself out over it.
Yeah. And I think too, like what a lot of people, when they do something like that, where they get a mentor, they get an educational program or whatever it is, they're just like, oh, it's just supposed to happen. Like, no, you still got to work. Like you still got to go out there and do these things, and they're tough. They're uncomfortable. You're going to screw up. You're going to have roadblocks. There's going to be up and down. Like all of that's still a part of everything. But now it's at least giving you the knowledge of how to move forward in the right way, in the right direction. So maybe you don't make as many mistakes. That's still going to happen. And and I honestly, a lot of people have a tough time being accountable. So they have a tough time of being like, oh, I'm supposed to make 20 phone calls today. Oh, I'm supposed to send out 100 direct mailers today. Like that's work, and you have to do it, and you have to be accountable for it. So if you don't put that time in, you're not getting anything out. And that was one of the big things for me with just education in general. Like once I was taking the information in, I went out and tried to apply it. And trust me, I've screwed up raising private money appointments. I've screwed up lead intake calls. I've screwed up dealing with contractors. I've screwed up everything. But the successful people, that's how they become successful. Like, you have, it just isn't like I'm now successful. You have to go through those things.
Oh yeah. And are you willing to do it and come out on the other side? So that's where it's at. Well, before we go, I have to say, I'm actually heading down to Kenosha next week for coffee with a friend who's trying to like pick my brain about real estate because he's coming in. Are you in?
Yes.
Okay. I will let you know.
So fun.
Do you want to come in?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're grabbing
Road
coffee.
trip.
That works.
All right. So let me know. It's next week when? Like next week.
I think we're gonna try for Tuesday.
Okay.
If you're in, we'll set this up.
Yeah, I'm in. The only thing that I know off the top, I do some boxing training right now. I've been doing it for like a few months, and it's on Tuesdays at 11. But
Okay.
if that's really like the only commitment that I know off the top of my head that I have, and
well, then maybe we'll make it later. We'll
yeah,
talk fair about this one.
I would love to
We'll
meet
set
you
it
guys
up.
in person. That would
That'd be
be
awesome.
We will be down there.
Yay.
Awesome. I apologize. I have to cut this short. It's like 45 minutes rather than our typical hour, but
It's your fault.
I know it's my fault. It's the last day of school. It's family time.
I know.
I don't know what to do.
We had donuts and we had like Dunkin' Donuts, like food this morning. Like it was a big deal.
Yeah. So we are going to go. I think we're doing beach and then a graduation party still tonight.
Absolutely. Go do the thing. Go.
I always say family first over work, and I'm sorry that I have to do that, but
Practice what you preach.
it's the first day of summer for the boy.
agree.
How are you
I
going to tell
agree.
6-year-olds not to party on their first day of summer?
Well, I'm going to go and see my husband have a glass of wine, and you go do the family thing, and you go have your old fashioned.
Yes, I will. And I've got some steaks to grill, so I'm there too. So
Love
awesome.
Awesome. Well, we'll connect off air to set up Tuesday.
Yes.
But I think like that was very inspirational for anybody who's on the
Oh,
cusp.
for sure.
Get into it. Hopefully that eased some tensions for everybody.
Absolutely. Thank you so much
Always
for
fun
having me
talking
on.
to you, Mitch.
Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much.